Ladies and gentlemen, I sat here 2 days ago asking for more. More in our attacking areas. Looks like we've got some news today. Randal Kolo-Muani is officially here. News broke a few hours ago. David Ornstein saying Tottenham Hotspur have reached an agreement with Paris Saint-Germain to sign Randal Kolo-Muani. Deal for 26-year-old PSG striker. Straight season loan. No option and no obligation to buy. Personals done. France international en route to London for his THFC medical. Now this is a signing that was needed. I can't lie to you, especially considering the news that's come out over the weekend with Dominic Solanke's injury now. Dominic Solanke, I think, played actually a small part in preseason as well with this ankle issue. And over the weekend, I think everybody was quite surprised by him missing from the bench completely. And we thought, why is Dominic Solanke? Where is he? Is he out injured? And we got told apparently it was just a small knock on his ankle. Turns out it could be much bigger than that, and it could be something that keeps him out for quite a few months. So considering that, and considering our only two attacking options were him and Richarlison, I don't count Tell as a striker. In my opinion, I think Tell is a winger. But with those two being our only attacking options, you're going into the season with a massive problem, in my opinion, because those are two guys who I don't even know, and I said it in kind of my preview to the season video, I don't know if I can rely on either one of those to score me 15 to 20 goals guaranteed. So it's a case of I was banking on this season, Solanke being our record signing, having another season where he's adapted to be able to really get the numbers that he got in his last season at Bournemouth, whether that be 17, 18, whatever it is. But I was expecting a big season from Solanke. Then the season begins, and Richarlison, ironically, some way, somehow, finds a new lease of life, scores a couple bangers in the first game against Burnley. The next game, he gets an assist. And then on the weekend, we were kind of just reminded of the typical Richarlison we know. The guy we've gotten used to over the last couple of years. And this was my fear with Richarlison is I know he can have a good game. I know he can have a good 2 games, maybe a 3-game spell. But can you do it over a consistent period of the season? And I don't know. So therefore, I'm going into the new season with 2 strikers who I can't really trust. Now, Randal Kolo-Muani coming in now. Is he the answer? Is he the solution? Is he going to be the guy who gets us goals? I don't know. But it's definitely a low risk for me option worth taking. A loan with no obligation to buy. I think it's brilliant. Now, let's have a little look at Kolo-Muani. I mean, started off his career at Nantes, where he scored 13 goals in 14 games, and then, 10 goals in 40 games, and then he scored 13 goals in 41 games the following season, which actually got him the big move to Eintracht Frankfurt. Now, before the days of Ekitike, before the days of Marmoush, Randal Kolo-Muani was running things at Eintracht Frankfurt, and he got 23 goals in 46 games in his first season there, and then in his next season, just before he went to PSG, 3 goals in his first 4 games of the very next season before PSG paid an absorbent amount of money. I think it was in the 80 to 90 million range. And he signed at the same time as Gonzalo Ramos. And at the time, I remember there being a big confusion as to who's going to be the starter. And neither one of them really took the shirt by the scruff of the neck. And everybody kind of looked at it as, is this guy really worth the hype that he was at Frankfurt? Is he, Also, let's not forget that miss in the World Cup final, I think, lives in a lot of people's memory whenever they hear Kolo-Muani's name. So it's kind of a thing of, I know he's bottled that big moment. It hasn't really worked out for him at PSG. Is he kind of really worth all the hassle? But in my opinion, I don't think it's a bad option. Tall, athletic striker who can stretch the game. And for me, it's kind of built for the Premier League in terms of physically how he's built. And I think on his day, his finishing can be good. And I think we was reminded that a little bit of his loan spell with Juventus. I was so glad he got out of PSG midway through last season because he went to Juventus and scored 10 goals in 22 games, but 8 goals in 16 league games. That's 1 goal every 2 games. And listen, you might say Serie A is a bit more slower league. He might be able to adapt to it. The Premier League pace is definitely going to be different. But I think he is ready and suited for that kind of physicality and that pace of the Premier League. How quickly he can adapt, we always know that's an issue with players coming into the Premier League. But that Juve loan spell has actually given me a bit of hope as can he come in, can he score some goals? And I'm not expecting him to play the way Dominic Solanke played. Dominic Solanke loved to drop deep, loved to link up play a few cute passes in behind, link up with teammates. I expect Kolo-Muani to be a real 9. Stay up top, occupy 2 centre-backs, 3 centre-backs sometimes, run into the channels, run hard, and then get me a couple of goals where necessary. So I think it's a very necessary addition. I think it's a very useful signing in my opinion as well. I like the fact that there's no obligation and no kind of force to sign. And then now I kind of feel more comfortable going into the season. I look at our striker options. I see Kolo-Muani, I see Dominic Solanke, and I see Richarlison. On the left wing now, I have Tell and Odobert. I'm not expecting another left winger to come in, if I'm being honest. It would be great if we saw a Savinho, a Lookman, one of those guys come in and really elevate that to like a ready-made starter right now. But I guess we're going to have to work with the project of Tell and Odobert, and I'm happy to. I actually think both of them are great talents with great upside. Tell, some people will be like, is he worth the kind of 60 million that we paid? That's up to us to develop it. But on the right side, we've got Kudus and Kulusevski, along with Brennan Johnson as well. And then in that 10 position, we've got Xavi and Maddison. That isn't a bad unit, in my opinion. And especially because we're going to be competing on multiple fronts. I said this season, the most important thing is strength and depth. I want to go for another cup. I don't want it to just be one Europa League and then we rest on our laurels and wait till the next golden period and we hopefully walk away with the Carabao Cup. No, let's create and breed a culture of winning. And the way you're going to do that is win multiple trophies across multiple years. Listen, it might not be this year, but equip yourself the best way possible. And I look at these attacking options and I feel a little bit more comfortable with Kolo-Muani coming in. Am I expecting him to score 20 goals, 25 goals and be the game changer? Maybe not, but definitely a good option to have. And with the striker market out there nowadays, I don't know who you can really point at and say, you know what, that's the guy we need right now to come in and really bag us goals. Because even if there is a half-decent striker nowadays, you're being quoted ridiculous prices. So with the fee that PSG paid for him, I imagine they would want to recoup some of their money. But I'm happy that it's just a straight loan and there isn't that risk factor. Similar like with Palhinha as well. Get him in on loan. If they perform, we can kind of negotiate down the line. But let's just get him in through the door. Let's just get bodies on the line. And the other positive thing from this as well, for me, that I'm taking away from it, Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank has a history for me of getting the best out of his strikers. Whether that's Ivan Toney, Brian Mbeumo, Wissa, Watkins. There is such a list there of strikers who maybe weren't playing at the level, and once he really got into them and really coached them, they took another level. I was hoping I would see that similarly with Dominic Solanke this season, and I kind of can't wait till he comes back from injury to see if that is possible, because I think he does have the tools there. But Kolo-Muani is just another one of those where I'm thinking, 26 years old, he's hit highs, he's also hit lows. Can you get him to be that consistent guy? That's all I want from Kolo-Muani. I'm not expecting him to light up the world, but I just want consistency. Give me solid work. Give me hard yards. Give me a couple of goals. Give me crucial goals. Can you pop up at the right time? Be a nuisance. Facilitate for your teammates. So I hope Thomas Frank can kind of really get into him and really get the best out of him. But I think it's a good signing. I'm not too upset by it. I think I'm not expecting any other transfers to come in. But I just thought I'd give my thoughts quickly on this Kolo-Muani signing. Let me know your thoughts, Tottenham fans. What do you think about this signing? Is he going to be useful? Do you expect him to be the regular starter ahead of Solanke? How many goals are we expecting him to get as well? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments. I appreciate everybody who's been watching the videos and liking the videos as well. It means a lot for this channel. Subscribe, because I will have plenty more videos coming out over the coming days. It is international break now. But get involved in the conversation as always. I will catch you guys on the next one. Till then, take care.